Hello, everybody, and welcome to Full Focus, the cinema-based entertainment podcast where a couple of freelancers come together.
I've got the giggles. I apologize.
It's all good.
I've got the giggles. We're starting with giggles.
It's all right. It's the great way to start the show. But this is the cinema-based entertainment podcast in the tagline where a couple of freelancers come together to talk shop. My name is Mike, and as always, I am joined by my brother in crime, actor, producer, educator, Mr. Robert Andrus, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
see, there
please do sit down. Please sit down. I would like to start with a quote.
A quote? Would you like a little reverb on this,
no.
or do you want to?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Let's do it. Since we're missing Mr. Umberto Estrada, I want to start with a quote.
Okay, it's all you. Go ahead.
Never lose sight of survival.
How dare you? You're killing me.
I know. It was great. I had to.
But no, it's appropriate. It's awesome because on this episode of Full Focus, we're going to be talking about what happens when a bunch of people go blind and they still have to survive. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about that Netflix sensation, also known as the movie with all the people with the blindfolds. Bird Box. Yeah, exactly. Chirp, 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 chirp. This is going to be interesting because this is going to be like the first time that Netflix has ever gone this hardcore with just a single feature. It's also, for the record, one of the few times that Netflix has released numbers regarding how many people actually watched the show. So 2019, they're starting off with a bang.
Well, I guess how many times it was streamed?
Yeah, something like that.
Is that the accurate way to put that?
I think so, pretty much.
All right.
But that kind of also begs the question. It streamed in entirety. People who watch it like a YouTube video or whatever.
I'm wondering how they get those statistics for sure. So,
me too.
Yeah.
But if you haven't heard of this movie, then you've definitely been living under a rock, especially if you happen to have a Netflix subscription, because they have, like, the ad campaign for Bird Box has been ridiculous. There's a lot of good things. There's a lot of bad things with this movie.
I wanted to jump in on that statement. Living under a rock or living in a box. Sorry, I had to. I'm full of puns.
Yeah, it's good.
Thank you.
I like it.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, everybody,
thank you.
Remain calm.
Calm down.
Everybody.
Everybody's really up on me today. I love this.
The studio is so small, too.
I've got
I don't know how to get
fans.
so many people in here. You do.
Thank you.
But we're going to jump into this right away because as it does come about, everybody, well, not everybody, but the majority of people who have seen this film, apparently, when you check social media and that kind of thing, they have been giving it pretty good praise. And I am of mixed opinion when it comes to this thing.
Okay.
Why don't we jump in really quick, give people an idea of what we're talking about by just hitting the trailer.
I love the synopsis on IMDb. It says, warning, spoilers.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Spoiler alerts! Spoiler alerts!
Match.
And then there is zero synopsis. It doesn't even have it. That's what I'm saying. Spoilers.
Oh, my goodness.
I wonder if that's actually intentional because it's a blank screen.
Yeah.
Am I wearing a blindfold? What?
What the hell?
Am I?
Oh, my goodness.
Can I see? I can see you.
You know, in a way, maybe we're all wearing a blindfold.
No, okay, we're not going there. No, I just thought that was funny.
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Interesting. Intentional? I don't know. We'll see.
I think like honestly, that was like the thought in the back of my head watching this entire feature. Intentional? Question mark.
Well, yeah, they made it. Yes, intentional.
There were a couple things here that did leave me with a lot of questions. Also, one thing that I did happen to notice was, I asked myself, did the production studio want to make the trailer better than the movie?
Ooh, good point. Let's see.
So Sandy B's in the woods. Apparently you can still get North Face jackets during the apocalypse. But whatever.
They existed. Sure. Of course you can.
Echo.
Please don't take my children!
Damn.
I love that they went to black on that, by the way.
Yeah.
Great.
No, the trailer's awesome. The trailer's the reason why I watched this thing.
I never slept well before. I was condition. Condition? It's called pregnancy. It's okay to say it out loud.
Uh-oh. Wow. Headbutting right into the plate of glass.
Something's happened.
Can you just please drive?
Did you see something?
Come inside!
Suzanne Beer.
What's going on?
Okay.
People describe seeing an entity that takes on the form of your worst fears.
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
With your eye roll. Right.
That was cool. I mean,
Every contact we have had with the outside has brought us death.
Malkovich.
Every
Yes.
single decision I have made has been for them.
See, I mean, this is great.
I don't need to laugh.
Listen to me. We are going on the trip now. It's going to be rough.
Tiger Mom over here.
If you hear something in the woods, you tell me. If you hear something in the water, you tell me. But under no circumstance are you allowed to take off your blindfold.
Do you hear that? The creatures.
Oh no. See that? Golly, that's just great editing from the stock footage. I mean, come on, man. I mean, the trailer is strong. The trailer is ridiculously strong.
And in select theaters.
Yeah. So that's another thing we should talk about too. The marketing behind this film was following the usual kind of thing that Netflix does. That they were trying out. It started out like in 2017, and they've been pushing it a little bit hard in 2018, where they have like trailers that come up. They did this for the Super Bowl with the Cloverfield title. They started advertising it, and they said, okay, it'll be in theaters tomorrow. Netflix is doing a really great job of making, high quality movies, and technically this is a high quality film.
Oh, for sure it is.
But they're making it available to people just faster. I mean, obviously it's been in the books, it's been on their servers for God only knows how many months. Production took a long time, but people don't start really understanding that it's available until it's ready to really just pop out and be, mass produced on a marketing scale, which is smart. It's really smart. It's like, do you like that trailer? This entire movie is available in 2 weeks,
Right.
or tomorrow or something like that.
Well, and not only that, if you already have stupid children pulling stupid maneuvers,
right,
following the trend of whatever this movie is about,
I think we know
you
what
have
this-
an issue there,
yeah.
right?
So,
please, adults, children, everybody, educate yourself on not being stupid.
You're going to have to say that a little bit louder. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Educate yourself on not being stupid.
Well, Mr. Andrus is...
If you get behind the wheel of a car and put on a blindfold, how stupid are you?
Do you know how many memes have dropped and Instagram photo videos have come out and YouTube photos of people?
Honestly, I haven't. I
Oh
don't
my
even know
God.
the story. The actual news story. I didn't
Right.
watch it. But I'm like, how idiotic do you have to be to put on a blindfold
Right.
and then drive?
You're referring to the Bird Box Challenge, I'm afraid.
Well, I think it's Bird Box stupidity challenge.
I absolutely agree
How
with
is
you.
that a challenge? That's just you being stupid. And if you fall for it, you're an
Right.
idiot.
Well, I think it's a conversation for a different episode. I mean, did the marketing turn this into a thing that people... Oh, I mean, it's just
Well,
it's
I mean,
ridiculous.
I mean,
and you know that the marketing department over at Netflix is like, yeah, people are probably going to get hurt doing this, but and now it's going to give us even more
but
visibility
but
on the spectrum.
I'm sorry. You're putting your life in danger. You're putting everybody else's life in danger.
Yeah.
If you watch the movie and you watch what happens in the movie,
Right.
it's
not good.
completely chaotic.
It's not good. And let's talk
How
about
can you
that.
possibly do something like that and feel like it's a warranted challenge or it? I don't know.
Because it's
so
2019.
obscure to me that would be even something that we do.
It's because it's 2019 and people have made resolutions to be more daring with their lives and take more chances.
Okay,
I
well
mean,
then don't put a blindfold on and get behind the wheel of a car and drive down the street where
You know-
you could actually hit another human being, animal, or living thing and
Right.
hurt yourself or anybody else. That I don't get that.
As
I
far-
do not get that.
As far as I know, there haven't been any deaths due to the Bird Box Challenge. It's a real thing. And let me make this very clear to everybody who might be listening out there, when we are talking about people literally watching this film and getting into the advertising and then going outside in real life with a blindfold and going through getting in their cars and driving to work, it's actually happening. Okay, it's a real thing, and people have done this. Luckily, no one's been killed, but I'm pretty sure there are a couple people who fell down some escalators and probably got hurt or whatever.
So,
but
Mike,
still.
let's do a little role play here,
Okay, lay it on me. What's the scene?
Okay, well, I just saw this amazing movie.
Yeah.
With an Academy Award-winning actress.
Like, there are a couple of them in there that had, like, the gold statue. It was great.
Let's just talk about the relevant one.
Okay.
The one that won most recently. And
The
just
relevant
say,
one, yeah.
Okay, so,
Are you talking about Sandy Bay?
could you please just put on a blindfold and go out in the middle of the street and just walk
Let me ask you.
and see what happens? And there's train tracks close by and stuff like that, and just see what happens.
Possibly. But I have to ask one question.
Don't even get behind the wheel of a car and protect yourself. Just go out there and try it. Let's see what happens. I don't like you very much, is what I'm saying.
Do they do it in the movie?
No. Sure they do. The answer is
sold.
they're wearing blindfolds the entire time. Spoiler. Sorry.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Brilliant improv.
But I mean, like, let's put it into a realistic context. How stupid.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
Yeah. Well, it's because you know why this went into production. It's
Peer
because
pressure or not, I don't get that. I'm sorry. I'm going to talk about this the entire time.
Let's do it.
I'm blown away. I do not understand that.
it's for the views. It's for the views, and people don't think they can be that they'll get hurt because we have Teslas that can drive you to work without worrying about.
Okay.
this.
Well, okay. Hey,
it's
fair
2019,
point.
Andrus.
Put on a blindfold and then use a navigation system to get you somewhere. That's okay.
I don't
Because
really
I think it's proven.
I'm seeing a lot of judgment here of the Bird Box challenge, and I don't know if I really appreciate it. So
Honestly,
maybe,
I didn't know that I felt this strongly until I got,
until you got into
microphone.
it. No,
Yeah.
I completely understand. Where
I'm
you're coming
irritated
from.
though. I
Yeah.
don't get it.
Hey,
Okay.
don't be dumb.
Thank you.
I'm going to abuse this reverb.
Okay.
It's going to be
Do it.
amazing.
It's a new toy.
But let's get into that a little bit because we have to really kind of like dive into the film itself sooner or later. This form of entertainment, of course, though, I mean, we can see it. It has real world implications. Mostly stupid people going through and, driving cars with blindfolds and going out in traffic. But don't do that. But when it comes to the movie, we have talked about like that premise in and of itself. This is a copy of A Quiet Place. I mean, a friend of ours.
Is it?
I think so. I think
Okay.
so. And I'll explain why.
You know how they usually come out in 2s or 3s or 4s or whatever,
That's
as
true.
far as movies that are similar to each other, right?
Well, our dear friend Humberto Estrada. He mentioned that the reason that's why they're doing this is, and I agree with him, because last year The Quiet Place made some movement in regards
Super
to that.
popular.
Yeah, really popular. What we're going to do is we're going to see a series of 3 more films, only in the next one that people won't be able to smell or taste or hear or something like that.
How do you do a movie where you don't smell?
I don't
and
know.
There's a problem.
Hey, man.
Well, we've already seen Chef.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Chef was great.
It was great.
Chef was great.
I guarantee you it's going to be a Netflix movie.
So like, see no evil, hear no evil, speak
Smell no evil.
Smell. I don't know about that one.
It can happen. It can
Is
happen.
Well, yeah, but
Maybe it's just a comedy. It could be a comedy. I don't know. But mark my words, it's coming.
maybe
And I
they're
think-
in waste management.
There you go. It could be like, there you go. It's called The Garbage Man or Woman or whatever.
No,
It could be
let's
interesting.
just call it wasted.
Oh!
Oh, I know. I'm good. I'm
That's
good
very
with
nice.
those
That's very
things.
nice.
You're welcome.
So when we talk about this was a major film. The production cost of this ranged. I don't think it cost actually terribly too much, but the biggest thing that they were paying for, of course, was the cast. We have Oscar Award nominees, Oscar Award winners. There is Sandra Bullock, of course, but Trevante Rhodes, who was in an Oscar Award-winning film. John
Was he nominated? I believe he was.
I believe so.
I would say that he was one of the ones that was nominated. If you go to awards
for Moonlight
Row,
back in
it'll say,
2016.
right. There, go up a little bit. It's the highlighted section right there. See more awards. 7 wins, 13 nominations. Winner for special honorary award for the Austin Film Critics
Association.
Yeah, there's going to be a bunch where he was actually nominated or the film was nominated.
Mm-hmm. So we got
or won.
an established actor. I mean, the Gotham Awards and everything. I mean, the MTV Music Awards, those getting pushed through, which, I mean, has weight now. I mean, because a lot of people pay attention to that kind of media spread. But regardless, he's a good actor. We have that power team coming up. Again, I mentioned Malkovich. One of the most underappreciated actresses that gets so much work, that died in the first 10 minutes.
Spoiler alerts.
Of this movie.
Spoiler alerts.
Wait a minute. Was it 10 minutes, really?
I think so.
Okay.
Sarah motherfucking Paulson. Dude, she's like one of my favorite actresses, and she never gets the main bill. That's always bothered me.
Mine too, and apparently Sandy B, as you've been calling her, which I think is fun.
We're close.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna call her S-Bull.
S-Bull?
S-Bull. No, Sandy B's way there.
Okay, I like it.
Let's call her Sandy B.
Okay.
I appreciate her a lot.
Absolutely.
But apparently from all of the little details, she directly requested that Sarah be her sister in this film.
Yeah.
And they just did Ocean's 8.
Yeah.
Which makes sense that they made a bond and whatever, and now they're like requesting each other.
She's an amazing supporting actress.
Not to mention she's incredible.
I just can't wait till she gets.
She can be my sister in any movie.
Absolutely, she can just be my sister.
Yeah,
It's got so much.
Or my friend,
Brooks Brothers,
or my coworker, or my lover, or whatever. You know, I think she's amazing. So, she is. I really appreciate all of her work.
Sarah Paulson. No, too much.
Sandy B, Sarah P.
Perfect.
Right, come on.
Knocking it right out of the park.
I know.
All right, but let's talk a little bit about this. Like, technical specs and everything that are coming through. This was technically a very competent film. The acting is strong.
Yeah.
We have an incredible cast. The site locations were crazy. It was in the Northern California, I believe.
Do you know? I'm not sure exactly where, but I saw redwoods.
Yeah. So we're talking like Washington area or something.
And it felt like Los Angeles. Yeah, it says right there, Los Angeles, California, Seymour.
Check an IMDb. Folks.
Right.
Smith River in California. They were going over the entire
it's
state.
all California. So,
but it's all good shit. We have this kind of. See, you and I both know how hard it is to work on the independent scene. When you go through and you can take a step back and appreciate the technicality of this film, there were scenes in here that were really great. The acting was pretty good. The writing was lousy, but technically speaking, it's a beautiful film. The location was really good. I just had...
Why would you say the writing was lousy?
You know what? That's an excellent question, and I think I have a way of being able to prove that my opinion is just by playing for you a scene out of the movie in which Travante's character is flirting with one very pregnant, very angry, and apparently very hungry Sandra Bullock. I just have to find this scene popping up here. That's the thing too. Like when we go through and we see how. Okay, here we go.
Oh, the grocery store scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, we raised horses.
On a real ranch.
Oh, my daddy was a real cowboy.
Well, I know that's how you learned your little shotgun trick.
Nice flirting, bro.
Interesting.
Nice.
But Stockton wasn't all that far from Sacramento.
No, just down 99.
Just down Highway 99.
Worlds apart, right?
Still, we could have met some other way.
Sure. Could have been your babysitter.
My hot babysitter.
Come on.
No.
Come on. I mean, how we've seen this in every horror film. Everything, Andrus. I mean, you know what's going to happen
so
next.
So who originally wrote it?
Well, I don't know who originally wrote it. I mean, but it's a trope.
No. Lines like that. Who originally wrote lines like that? Blame them.
Blame them. Not now. Okay.
They just stole a moment.
Okay.
Sure.
I can understand where you're coming from. Yeah. But this brings up. I mean, first of all, you have an incredible pair of actors here. And one of them is, a mom who doesn't want her kids. And the other guy is definitely somebody who's watched too many videos on Pornhub with pregnant women. That's what's happening.
Sure. I was going to actually agree with you with the writing thing. Yeah. I just wanted to see what your point was so I could bring up mine.
Okay. Let me finish.
Finish your thought.
Throughout the entire movie.
Spoiler alerts. Spoiler alert.
The writing is so unoriginal, and I swear on my mother's life, we watched this together. Not you and I, but some other friends here at my place. We were saying what was going to happen, and 90% of the time,
like
5 minutes after, word for word, it happened.
Yeah, I can.
This movie is so predictable.
Sure.
The writing is lazy. It's so predictable.
So, is it lazy, or is it intuitive?
Explain.
Well, I mean, is it intuitive? Like, okay, am I going to make it as easy as possible?
They did here, yes.
Right? Or, am I going to put a story in play where it's very predictable?
Well, yeah. Let's not make this like it's so easy to write a movie. Okay. No. What happened here was that Netflix production company, they were given an idea,
right?
And they were like, "Hey, The Quiet Place is really good. Hey, everybody's on this. This is going to be a big deal. Let's make it a movie with this great cast." And they're okay. Well,
what I will say,
yeah,
is I think lazy is the accurate word.
Thank you.
Okay. The reason that I'm going to say that is because I think that with something like this, and forgive me, whoever wrote it,
right?
I mean,
yeah,
I know how difficult it is to
Absolutely.
write a movie, but it feels like, okay, I already have kind of a script written or something in mind,
right?
And I just got this gig where somebody can give me the context in which to put a lot of what I already have in play.
Yeah.
So, like, even from the beginning, from what we hear at the very beginning of the movie,
yeah,
Sandy B is yelling at her kids,
right?
Do not take off your blindfold,
exactly.
No matter what you do, and it's a good setup for what the rest of the movie is.
Yeah, why is she so angry at these kids?
But if I'm putting it in context of a mom screaming at her 5-year-old children who grew up in the apocalypse,
okay, you're saying it makes sense. So there's cohesion in the writing, is what you're saying.
It doesn't make sense. For the reason that why does it need to be said in such a way as aggressively as she says it?
This is the only thing.
This is all they have
ever known.
No.
Ever known. Say that one more time for me.
It is all they have ever known.
I mean, when is a kid gonna just like look at Sandra B and just be like, yeah, no duh.
My other point for it is, and maybe this is just a story structure, it just felt like it didn't feel thought through all the way. A Quiet Place felt thought through.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do a comparison, I really liked everything that they did in it.
Right.
It was a strong horror movie. I felt like this has a really good suspense to it.
Right. Well, it's because they don't show the monsters. That's the only reason why.
Well, sure. And there's a lot of unknowns throughout the whole thing.
Let's talk about that.
But the writing in it made no sense, especially when you lose main characters and nobody really mourns them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not talking about Sandy B.
No.
I think she does a really great job.
But you're talking about the scene where
morning.
Yeah.
But especially in regards to the kids.
Spoiler alerts.
I'm not going to spoil it.
Alerts.
Yeah, I will.
Something happens. They do not react to that.
At
all. Now, I will go back and say the plot line where she says, this is what we've been planning for ever. So I can say, okay, well, maybe they're not reactive because of that.
Yeah.
Well, then why is it an issue with the blindfold the whole time?
Maybe they're so desensitized.
Why didn't she also poke their eyes out from birth? No, I am dead serious. If you want to talk about ultimate protection for your children,
brilliant.
Why not let them adapt as children
as blind
the
people.
Same way that every other blind person would?
And what happens?
Not giving them the option for sight,
right? So they have to worry about it
in order to survive life as any other adult would in that circumstance. I think that would be the smartest thing a parent could do, and the most protective and the most loving thing a parent could do in that situation.
I agree with you.
We
actually mentioned that when we watched
this. Are you taking something away from them?
Yeah,
absolutely.
But you're allowing them to live.
Absolutely. But you, as the adult, I think you would probably keep your... Well, okay, I'm just putting it in like a verbal vomit scenario.
No, it's fine. That's what the show is
for. I would leave my eyes because I've had it the entire time, and I would be a really crappy adult trying to protect my children without my eyesight when I've had it for the last 30, 40 years of my life, as she is maybe 40 in this, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's safe.
But I mean, you can see where the ending is going a mile away. You get, I mean, you really do, right? Where is this utopia? Right. Sure, I get it. It's kind of a Book of Eli situation. Sorry, that was the spoiler right there.
Yeah, I feel
right.
Right.
Spoiler alerts.
For those who haven't seen Book of
Spoiler
Eli.
alerts.
I feel like I really need to verbally vomit all over this right now, right? Is like, if I am a protective adult
Yeah.
and I want these kids to survive,
You take away the power that the
you
monsters
take
have.
away the power that the monsters have.
Right. And
How do you do it in this situation?
you blind
It
the
is
kids.
obvious.
It is obvious.
Once you discover the plot points down the line that there really is no way to really avoid.
Right.
Sorry, from birth, what do you do?
I think that is another thing that kind of really bothered me about it, because we saw the ending coming 20 minutes into the movie, and it insults the intelligence of the audience when everybody that you're watching it with can be like, oh, well, I guess all the blind people are fine.
Right.
And it's true.
No, from the get-go.
Which I will
I
exemplify
think you consider that right away.
by playing the ending of the movie right now. Gotta make sure they're not. Oh, we gotta talk about the crazy people in a second.
Well, yeah, that was another one.
Right. So the
Let me
kids
see your eyes. Let me see your eyes.
eyes.
Let me see your eyes.
So the kids make it into the kids in Sandy B make it into a stronghold at some point at the end of the movie, and what do we see? Everybody.
Not everybody.
Well, the majority.
Let me see your eyes. Let me see
You're
your
right.
eyes.
The majority of people
Right.
here, all the kids at the very least, they're all blind. They're blind, man.
Well,
They're blind, Robert.
It makes a lot of sense if you think about it.
I mean, you just look at these kids, like some of them are playing, b-ball or whatever. You can tell it's like actors who are just like staring off into space or something like that. See the main character who's like the head professor or something.
Right.
He's blind.
Professor
He's been taking
X.
care of the kids. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
See, I'm glad you said
Great
it because
actor,
I was
by the
afraid
way.
to.
I
Yeah.
like him. So.
But that's the thing too. This entire film, and this is something that really bothers me a little bit. Netflix seems to be dedicating itself to movies that are just okay. When we talk about like television series where they have like the time through a narrative to expand things and get things going.
Well, but here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
They're a powerhouse. They need content. They're going to put money wherever they think they can make a profit.
Right.
It's still a business. And to be honest, if you want to look at the movie, it has some really good, strong points as well.
It does have some strong points.
We're really kind of bashing it.
We've been
pretty
talking
hard
shit
right now.
We've been talking shit.
But
for
I
sure.
will say, I mean, did you watch it?
I did
on
watch
Netflix?
I did watch it on Netflix.
Did you challenge me to watch it on Netflix?
I did. I said,
Did
Andrus,
you tell me to do it with a blindfold? I had to. I'm sorry.
I know. It's very
I'm
good.
Sorry.
Anyway.
There's a lot of good in it.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the good. Let's talk about some of the good.
Okay, so let's talk about the acting.
The acting was great.
Weak points for you?
None.
Really?
No, not at all. I really had fun with the way in which a lot of these characters were portrayed. The problem with me was like most of the world and the narrative was weak. And I think one of the challenges that really made this hard for me to digest was that I can see some of the actors working very hard to make these unbelievable circumstances somewhat more believable.
Okay. What I would say is a lot of what I didn't like about it was how it was put together.
You mean like the
editing,
the structure, the editing? Okay.
Yeah, the structure, the editing.
Okay.
If it was a little bit more linear and I went through the struggles with her, I think I might be a little bit more prone to accepting the kind of flaws that we see through it. Like, I mean, even the idea that you're blind.
The time
at the end.
The time jump is a lazy way to introduce different major plot points in the film.
No, and I get that. I totally get that.
Like in one scene, she's going down the river. She sees the crazy person. Like, what's going on?
Sure.
Then it's like, the criminally insane don't get affected by it the same way. They can still see, but they're crazy and murderous.
So here's the thing, though, right? We start with don't open your eyes.
Rules are established.
No matter what you do.
Right.
How about discovering the rules so that we don't know that that's a
Exactly.
problem in the future?
Exactly.
When we're going back in time for the problem.
How about do a better job?
Open up with the storyline of, okay, something has gone down
Right.
over in the Slavic region, Russian region, whatever, right?
And
it's making its way toward the U.S. That's enough of a threat as
yeah,
it is.
there it is.
That's scary.
And then, like, maybe midway through the film, you're like, oh, okay, no, they found the cure or something. Then we have the scene in the traffic where, like, it's all, oh, it's here. I mean, that was kind of scary. That was, like, still being with him.
In a linear sense, you watch everybody going insane, and
Right.
and like the result is either whatever suicide you see or don't see, or whatever accident you see or don't see as it goes. That's terrifying as it is.
Yeah, it really is.
I'm wondering if any like circumstances throughout current events
affected
them
sure.
or affected their strategy
Well,
on releasing that.
See, I
didn't
think
like the time jump. I thought that was a huge problem.
It was lazy. It was a lazy way to introduce like stuff that ended up being major negative plot points. But the reason that Tom Hollander's character was let into the house was because he was the crazy guy who.
I know.
Okay. That why not explore that entire character? Tom Hollander is an incredible actor. First of all,
I have no idea who he is. I'm just kidding.
How dare you?
I know.
How dare you?
No, he's incredible.
If you want to find, especially if you want to find a psycho with an English accent, his accent was very good in this movie.
Villains always.
How could you not hire this man, dude?
I know.
Tom motherfucking Hollander? T. Halls?
He's great. Let's not.
Okay, that's too far. But like that's the thing.
It would be
like,
T. Holla.
Exactly.
I mean, look at it. Just look at this spelling. T. Holla. Come on.
That's a lot better. But that's the point. Like, it's lazy writing. They use time jumps to introduce these different plot points. We know now that criminally insane people just get more insane because of the sickness of the phantoms or whatever. Tom Hollander's character actually makes it into the safe house that all the main characters are in. But instead of us seeing little things about Tom's character, what was his name? Gary. Instead of seeing Gary like slowly shedding his armor, maybe becoming insane because of the entire experience.
No.
We have three.
Come on.
We have three shots.
Have
3 shots.
I am sorry. Did you not know from the get-go?
I did not. No.
Shut up.
I know.
Really?
Because I didn't see they didn't pay enough attention to the eyes of the whole thing.
The instant
he came in, you called it, right?
The instant I saw him, and we didn't let one of the main characters let him in.
Yeah.
And we let somebody let him in
Yeah.
that was already let in that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just like,
it was Danielle McDonald's character, Olympia. She was the nice one.
I would say that's probably a part of the writing as
Which
well.
goes back to my main point.
No, it does.
It's so fucking predictable.
It is very predictable. I saw that coming from a mile away.
Right.
I think the strongest perspective is, again, there's so many similarities to Walking Dead. I'm just going to bring it up now.
Let's talk about that. Let's do that because like I thought that was actually kind of smart being able to put in this zombie kind of thing in addition to the monsters thing. Like when Tom Holland went to the scene of going through
Hollander,
thank you. Went through
Tom Holland is Spider-Man.
You're absolutely right.
Okay.
And we have the scene of like where he is the extremely meme-worthy scene now that is insta famous where Tom Hollander walks up behind
John Malkovich.
Jack Weaver's character, Cheryl.
With the eyes thing?
Yeah, the eyes thing.
Okay, yeah.
And he literally rips her eyes open so she sees the phantoms or something. I mean, soon after that, there are so many memes about, like, you know, old people. And then, like, you know, the heat death of the universe or something, and that's Hollander like ripping her.
It's just like you've got to look into the light. And I mean, there's so many stories where that's kind of a relevant thing. Did you get anything End of Days from it?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Rapture.
Absolutely, Rapture.
Right.
Like it's all biblical stuff.
Yeah, there are lots and lots of things to talk about.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
don't know what.
I need to find that scene where he's there we go. Here we go. So he's taking her up there, and all of a sudden T. Holla comes the back of Cheryl, and he just rips her eyelids open.
Thank you for saying that, T. Holla.
Oh, and then
that's just
her doing it. Hold on a second. Baby's crying.
Yeah, let me see your baby. Let me see your baby just for 1 minute.
I love that you can already see that it's a breakaway window in that shot. That's unfortunate. I didn't notice that before. It's a breakaway window.
I'll see you with you. Oh. Strong acting. Here we go.
Please, no. Oh, no.
There's the eye rip.
Yeah.
Oh! Okay, that is fucking frightening.
It
See,
is.
That is one of the. That is every once in a while. Like this movie has spikes where it's like, oh shit.
Oh no! I'm like I said, a lot of suspense moments.
Right, but
a lot of suspense moments.
If it wasn't for like the flow and like the disjointed writing, it would
so
just be better.
what I'll tell you about this is what it did was it kept me wondering: is anybody immune?
Right.
Because the kids were now born in this world.
Right.
Are they now immune?
Well, that's one other thing that I had a problem because they could never decide whether this was a virus. Not
no,
really.
but they didn't go into any detail.
Yeah, or
whatsoever.
if it was some sort of alien or something.
No.
Because you never see the monster.
Other than, okay, anybody a fan of Lost?
Good point. Yeah.
It's or the Nothing.
Well, that's the
it's
thing.
It's literally the Nothing.
But that's such a played out thing where you have put the bar so high where people are being scared into suicide. There's no way you could produce CGI or otherwise.
Okay, so
something that would be that scary that people could relate to.
Is it scared into suicide?
Yes, it absolutely
No, it is not.
Okay, what do you think it is?
Okay. The very first time that we see somebody get into a burning car.
She says it's her mom. You're right.
Was she terrified?
She was not. She was
okay.
calm.
Now, let's talk about Sarah Paulson.
Yeah.
When she does the deed that she does.
But she was like screaming, what the fuck is that? She walks into a garbage truck. What do you think? Well, tell me what your theory is.
I don't think that was terrifying. I think it was some sort of recognition.
So we're going back to like the whole.
It still for me is very much a rapture type thing.
Okay.
Right. If you want to say she saw Jesus, if you want to say that she saw a family member, if you want to say that she saw somebody special to her,
right.
I don't know what that is. There were a couple clues in there where there was a calm.
Yeah.
And whether there was a sadness or some sort of recognition, that's what I saw. I didn't see like, oh, my life is over. I'm so depressed. I'm going to go do something.
There's holes in that too, though, because
I don't like how they build it because they build it with suicide too.
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
You're right.
Now the fact that granted, acts of suicide are in here.
Sure,
I get that, but
I got to cross over or something.
Yeah. I don't see it as. I don't see it as a negative context. I see it as something where it's just an influence.
Yeah.
And that's the result of the influence.
I would believe you, and I would be more willing to go on. Well, not believe you. I think that's a strong theory.
It's personal, right?
Totally.
Individual moments.
Right, and that's what art's about. That's what movies are about.
What I'll say that was interesting about it was there was obviously some force that we saw.
Right.
Throughout whatever the nothingness was,
right?
Because leaves started to float.
We got to talk about that.
And
that's another thing that bothered me.
And we saw the car shake.
Yeah.
But did it actually affect a personal, invade somebody's personal space or attack them in a personal way?
No, they weren't.
We didn't
touched.
see any clothes shredded. We didn't see anything else.
We didn't see any damage.
Right.
That's what bothers me. There's a scene towards the end of the film,
right,
where Sandra Bee is. She does a great job.
Do you know what I would have loved, to be honest?
Go ahead.
The ending for this, and I think this might be in line to what you're talking about.
Okay.
Is she's running through the woods blindfolded and she trips several times.
Yes.
How many times in movies have we seen people trip and impale themselves on a branch or a stick or something like that?
All
or hit their head in a rock?
All their
time. She is the luckiest human being to survive the apocalypse.
She's running through redwoods. Without any sight.
River rapids.
Yep.
Gunfire.
Absolutely.
Car.
Psychotics. She should blindfold herself more often.
She really should.
She should do her taxes.
She's intuitively the luckiest human being.
She should play the lottery blindfolded.
Live.
Yeah, absolutely.
She found her children. I'm sorry. There's just so many.
There's too much.
So many.
But I mean, you can't have your main character die with a movie like this because.
Wait. Inaccurate.
What do you mean?
I think you should.
Let's talk about that because you're right. She is the luckiest character in this entire series. To the point,
I think she should have been a martyr in it.
Well, to the point that the monsters are right behind her, and she's freaking out and all this other stuff, but she still has a blindfold on. What the hell is she afraid of?
She screams them to go away?
Yeah.
She screams at them to go away, and they go away.
That's all it took. Oh, see, she hears it coming.
And there's another problem with this, right?
Yeah.
Did you see how fast it was moving?
Yeah.
And how slow they're running?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Well, they're in the
Plot hole.
woods, and she's carrying kids.
Plot hole.
It's coming. It's coming, Sandy.
Oh. I'm going to make another point to my argument.
Okay.
She hears the voices of her loved ones.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, she hears
Oh,
the
wait,
birds.
no, she hears birds. Never mind.
But she heard Tom and stuff prior to that. Oh, it's so suspenseful. She's running down, and these trees are being knocked out of sight. This is the scene here. Bam, bam, bam. They're coming from 3 directions.
Right.
What the fuck is she afraid of? Do these things have the capability of physically hurting you or not? You know, and if they do, then why make it a point of having the scene where they can move around things physically, but they can't do any damage to the characters? It deflates the entire point of the film, because supposedly it doesn't matter how big, bad, or whatever. If you're not a tree and you're blindfolded, you have nothing to worry about.
It's still a visual medium, and if you get stuck inside your head under the apex of whatever it is, maybe it will take over.
Right, but that's making the audience work too hard.
That's me validating
Yeah,
it,
I feel
right?
it.
Right?
Yeah.
And I get it. It's a visual medium. If there's no... I mean, how terrifying would it be if all we saw through her perspective once she picks up her children is blindfold?
Right.
POV.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That would be terrifying.
That'd be terrifying.
And I think it would be relevant enough, and you feel her fall, and you feel her get up and keep going, and you feel her fall.
Well,
but then again, you're just saying mesh.
Well, supposedly, what did make more sense to me, and it didn't happen until after I did a little bit of research for the film, supposedly they did have a monster model.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
And supposedly they
I guarantee you that's why they left all that in, but then it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
It.
Exactly. To the final cut, it's like, well, why do we make these terrifying spider monsters or whatever the hell they finally decide on the final model if all they have to do is put a blindfold on? It's not dangerous at all.
I don't know why you went to spider monster. Those are creepy.
I'm
Do you know what I think
terrified of
they
spiders.
were? I think they were velociraptors.
Get the fuck out of here.
Right?
And later we see Sandra Bullock starring in Jurassic Park 10 or whatever the fuck it is now up to. I don't even know anymore. But it's lazy filmmaking. You know, The Quiet Place,
Planet of the Jurassic Park.
Exactly. The thing with The Quiet Place is that it was a simple concept to grasp, but once those rules were set up, that's it.
Well, okay, so if you bring that up, let's also bring up Pitch Black.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So for me,
are you talking about the insane sci-fi
Vin
film
Diesel, thank
that
you,
started
Mitch.
Vin
Yes.
Diesel's mega movie career?
Not to mention Rhoda Mitchell.
Unbelievable.
I'm a fan of
and a
both
great
of them.
anime series actually.
So yeah, because I mean, if we're talking about A Quiet Place and we're talking about Pitch Black, they use suspense in such a great way.
Well, good monster movies.
And they also had monsters that you had visually that were terrifying.
Yeah, totally.
Right? Let's call them dinosaurs because that's where I wanted to go with this.
They were hammerhead shark dinosaurs.
Insect. I don't know. But if you add a physical manifestation of whatever the monster is, that becomes a lot more terrifying than seeing trees rustle. I had the same problem with Lost because once we saw that there was a bear in a scene, okay, well now that there's a real. We understand bears are dangerous when they get too close.
Well, it's that whole...
There's a reality check there.
That's that whole Thing in the Cave thing, that old movie that came out back in the 40s or 50s or whatever, where the entire movie was about you being able to see these two red eyes in these caves. It was black and white, a black and white film, but it's so suspenseful and terrifying. Yeah. And then you finally see the monster, and it's a papier-mâché volcano with like spider legs. It's ridiculous. They ran into that same problem here. Midway through the production of this film, they had an idea of what was going on, but then they realized, holy shit, it has to be really scary or really whatever in order for people to want to kill themselves if they're seeing it. What is it? I don't know.
Okay, so somebody also mentioned The Happening to me. There is a
yeah.
relevance as far as, well, okay.
We're just going to
they
talk
did
about
Bird Box better than Happening.
We're just going to talk about
M. Night, right?
the worst movies of the past decade in this podcast.
So here's the thing, though. At least The Happening still had a physical threat.
To its detriment, though. I mean, the plants, it doesn't make sense. Well, it makes sense, but it's not scary.
Understood. But I mean, if you then go, okay, well, what about Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now the plants, they're big. They can step on you and squish
it's lazy
you
filmmaking.
and hit you, right? Whatever. Yeah.
It's trying.
Well, I mean, okay. Well, here's the other thing. What was the one in the Mayans with the vines?
Oh,
you know that horror movie with the kids.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember the title.
I can't think of it right now, but it had something to do.
Do you remember who was in it? Yeah, it was a while ago.
It's a minute ago, but I mean, legitimately, it was vines attacking people.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's been something that's been approached a few times. Has anybody really pulled it off, though?
No. I mean, it's a hard... That's another thing, too. Like, we touched on this a little bit.
Shop of Horrors.
Yeah, but
Thank you very much. Audrey was terrifying and entertaining. Thank you.
I found that to be more of like a funny, happy musical, actually.
No, I know. But that's my point.
And
the only one that I can come up with is Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah. And
it's a Venus flytrap that eats people. Come on.
And Bill Murray's like crowning achievement of performance to actually be taken seriously towards a Broadway musical adaptation at a dentist's office. Let's put that. Bill Murray.
Who?
It was Bill Murray.
Who?
Oh, how dare you? He was the patient. Oh wait. Oh, I'm sorry. Beamer. B-Ray. That's what we're gonna call him. So B-Ray was in Little Shop of Horrors. And he was opposite Steve Allen's dentist. And
Steve Allen?
It was Steve Allen, right? I mean, I'm sorry. Sal? S-Al? Oh, I can't even remember it. Now I'm going to just call up Little Shop of Horrors.
It's not Steve Allen.
It's not Steve Allen?
No.
Is it Dan Aykroyd? No, I know I'm right about this.
Man, I am having fun right now. I'm sorry.
He was the dentist. Hold on a second. Steve Martin. Fuck me. All right, never mind.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Bill Murray was the.
He was the patient.
You're talking about the patient in the dent, right? Okay.
We're getting off track. But
those weren't even the real talking parts of whatever. Yeah. So
I know what you're saying. I'm getting off track. You're right. We have a ridiculous creature that is being used as the focal point of horror.
Right.
But you're saying
so
that
it's the wind monster.
Right. So generally speaking, an alien Venus flytrap that eats people, terrifying. When I see it in a Broadway musical adaptation, I just don't. It's hysterical. It's funny.
Sure.
But that's again, like, that's a good example of monsters being used right through the kind of genre of film that you're using. Monsters in Bird Box, there were no monsters. It was just a psychosis thing, and it didn't have enough punch to really be taken seriously.
So what I would have appreciated was because they kind of made two monsters, right?
Yeah, that's what they were going back to the zombie thing, right?
Well, yeah, because the criminally insane.
I wanted more zombies. I wanted more of them.
Were the real threat?
Yeah,
because they were the visible, or not the visible, but the physical manifestation of what was so scary about this. They were not affected by whatever they saw, and whatever they saw maybe influenced them even further
towards insanity and that kind of thing.
And
what a cool like
leave it at that.
Yeah, leave it at that. Leave it.
Okay, now I'm gonna bring up the movie called The Crazies.
Which is a really good movie.
Okay. Which I liked, yeah.
One of Oliphant was one of his best movies ever, really.
I really liked him in it.
Yeah. It's the same premise. Like, it was such a cool way to introduce the whole zombie characteristic, and they could have played with it so much more than the 4 or 5 scenes that we see him any kind of like threat from that particular that particular monster in the movie. It could have been this cool thing where maybe the people that you know intimately are actually criminally insane.
Well, and that's what would have been really great about the Malkovich character, is because we're always so concerned about how volatile he is the entire way through.
Turn him into a zombie.
Where does that go? Right? Okay, well, is he a sociopath? Because apparently sociopaths are the ones that are not affected by it.
Mm-hmm.
And since he really only cared about the one person that he lost in there,
No
now
ties.
there's nobody else.
Or make it even like...
Does that make it scary?
Sure. Or make it like kind of like less obvious, and then you have like a little bit of a mystery twist for the third act. Who did it? Was it Malkovich or was it Gary? Who knows?
Or was it one of the other members that we really don't get to know?
Or was it the baby?
Babies.
They'll
I love
murder
that
you.
you got the reverb at the very end.
Yeah.
The babies.
They're going to kill all of us.
Sorry.
But like that's the thing. Like there was, and that's another thing that made me so sad, with a couple twists here and there. And of course, again, this is a hard movie to write. It's a hard movie to make people really dive into.
Okay.
It could be like a fun kind of thing, but there was a lot of potential to make it better. And it was just laziness, it seemed like, that was its ultimate downfall.
I'm going to read the caption here, right? The log line. 5 years after an ominous, unseen president... Sorry. That was bad.
Yeah, you're good.
Apparently, I've got the president on my mind.
Imagine that.
5 years after, an ominous, unseen presence drives most of society to suicide. A mother and her 2 children make a desperate bid to reach safety.
I mean, how cool is that entire sentence?
Okay, no, I mean, like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Right? I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so, like, Walking Dead is a huge series right now.
Yeah.
It makes sense that it's a post-apocalyptic vibe, and it's a mom trying to save her children. We all get that, and that's something that we can all kind of latch onto.
Sure,
and
woman
get
versus
behind.
nature.
Right. Again, I'm going to go back to the linear storyline.
Sure.
Like, okay, 5 years after an ominous, unseen president shows up. Right? I know. I'm sorry.
I love it. I love
it. It's difficult for me because I really, really liked a lot of what this movie had, and I think if it was presented in a different way, I might have enjoyed it more.
And honestly, could have been handled all in the editing too.
And okay, what's the star? The star number on this, is it 5 stars, 4 stars? 7.4 out of 10.
Oh, that's a Black Mirror. Hold on a second.
Okay, 6.7 out of 10 on IMDb.
Yeah, let me see what Rotten Tomatoes has.
Let's talk about that. So it's drama, it's horror, and it's sci-fi. All genres I can get behind.
Right.
I really enjoyed it. Okay, so especially Sandra Bullock's done a lot of sci-fi and a lot of drama, and I can get behind
she
that.
Can handle
has she
anything.
done a horror movie yet? I don't know that she has.
It's a good question.
Okay, we're looking up Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't even know if it's maybe they don't do Netflix movies. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
they've got to.
Hold on. Let me just look up Bird. There we go.
Bird Box.
So on RT,
And the results are
62%. That's not terrible for a Tomatoes rating.
No. And so I guess the audience score is they liked it.
Right.
Okay. So, what would you say about...
I mean, it could be a fun movie, but...
Okay, so here's the thing.
I didn't have fun watching it because I could tell what was going to happen every time a major plot event
and the
happened.
predictability was certainly a
It's
factor
gross.
because I saw it over and over and over, right? Okay, even with the very first time they let somebody in.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like, okay, what are we going to do? What are we going to do?
We
what
know
are
what
we
you're
going to
going
do?
to do.
So every single time they have the amazing idea of saving another human way later.
Yeah.
It's costly.
It is costly. Yeah, you're right.
Would you let somebody through the door?
Fuck no.
Would I? And I'm a nice guy.
You're a great guy. Yes.
You know? No.
I would let you through the door.
No, but here's the thing. A week later, when does the first person show up?
That's a good question. They never.
It's like a week later. It's like multiple
Yeah, he
days.
said something like
she.
She. That's right. It was Olympia. Right. She was like 3 or 5 days out, and she was like knocking on doors or whatever. I remember that she was talking about it.
Right. I'm sorry. At that point,
we're done.
Nay.
We're not having this conversation.
No. I'm just like, I'm
sorry. Knock on the door one more time.
I'm sorry.
Our
survival is way more important than allowing one more person to come in, but we also have to share the food.
Who's also going to be pregnant, so pretty soon you're going to have 2 mouths to feed.
Now, that brings up the Walking Dead aspect.
You keep going back to the Walking Dead.
At what point is there safety in numbers?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, but not right at the beginning.
No way.
Not
No
right
way.
at the beginning.
Like maybe 20, 25 plus.
Yeah, like later on when it's just like,
When you
okay, everything's kind of calmed down and now we can assess who survived and who hasn't. Then we have our series of questions that we're going to ask in order for you to join our group.
When you go through, and you actually have like a militia of people, then it might be pretty safe to start. Okay, we can allow pregnant people now. We have a pretty good handle on the situation.
Who is your favorite character?
My favorite character was
as far as
it was Malkovich.
Who did you identify with in the apocalypse? Is it Malkovich or is it Sandy?
John Malkovich.
Right.
Yeah, totally. No question. No question at all, because he was the smartest one out of all of them.
He's the one that had the most sense, given the fact that it was the apocalypse.
But he also had
Sandra, I would say, was pretty respectable in there too.
Malkovich had the least to lose. I mean, B.D. Wong's character was really cool too.
Well, but here's the thing: he also sacrificed himself away.
But that's what he always does,
which is the redeeming quality. Yeah. Which I would say maybe that was something that I would do.
Sure.
But at the same time, it's just like.
And also, B.D.
I would like to know that I would, but I'm not sure that I would.
And also, B.D. Wong, or Big Daddy Wong, as I call him.
Sure.
Because
we're doing a lot of B.D. Wong things.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. I mean, in my mind. But
I love that you're making his name bigger.
Yeah.
Big Daddy Wong.
Like we're not truncating him.
Sandy Bull.
I mean, this man is... I mean, the fact that this dude has done the things that this actor has done, first of all, just for acting in general, but also, I mean, I can't toot my own horn in regards to some white Mexican kid from Michigan, but what he's done for Asian American representation in cinema and television and advocacy, this dude is the cream of the crop. And
he survived the Jurassic Park franchise from beginning to current,
playing a bad guy, which is even better.
Right. Well, understated, but yeah.
But in this one, like, he definitely, like, everyone is playing the type in this movie, and that bothered me a little bit because I loved Wong's character, like you said, and
spoiler alerts. Spoiler alerts.
Because of his sacrifice, we find out that the curse or whatever it is works through video feed. It doesn't have to be like the naked eye or whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't.
B.D. Wong, as usual, does an incredible job. He pulls at your heartstrings, like, oh, I don't want him to die. He's the one who, it's his house. He's letting the people in. He's the first to really like get offed by these things.
Well, once we get into the story of it, yeah.
But I mean, that speaks to the cast again. But my favorite was Malkovich because it was just funny seeing him losing his shit, and an angry John Malkovich makes a happy Mike.
A drunk,
yes, exactly.
Malkovich.
Exactly. Hey, it's the apocalypse. I'm gonna be tossing him back. No problem.
So I mean, here's the thing. He said okay. So here's where I give writing props.
Oh, and also before you go
John
forward,
Malkovich props.
Before you go forward, Sandra Bullock was in a horror movie. It was called The Proposal, and I'm not taking that joke back. You were saying. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm kidding. I love The Proposal. It was funny and cute. Anyway, go ahead. You were saying the writing.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at the credits, and I just want to do the biggest pun ever. Okay. So, Sandy B, could you just take a note from one of your previous works and go with the blind side? Academy Award-winning role.
You're right.
I know. I'm sorry. That was amazing.
She never said. Yeah. She never. You could just put it. You could put it in dialogue. It's like, wow, it looks like Tom got blindsided.
Premonition maybe was a horror movie though.
Maybe.
Like I would qualify that as sure within Murder by Numbers. Sure.
Yeah.
28 Days Not Later. Just kidding. That one was great.
That was pretty good.
You're welcome.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
She was in like the Net was kind of a thriller.
No, it was a thriller. It was not a horror
movie. Okay.
No. I would most certainly put that as a thriller.
Well, then she hasn't done a lot of horrors though. She's done
The Vanishing. She disappeared.
Yeah. Did you guys hear?
She was the first victim of the bird bomb.
Did you? Fuck you. I love you.
No, I'm sorry.
I'm sure.
I'm a big fan of her work too.
You could hear my eye roll over the microphone.
Yeah, but I mean, look at her body of work. It is so good.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, I will go see a movie based on her being in it.
That's the reason why I watched this movie.
Right?
Yeah. It was later that I realized.
And then Malkovich,
John
it's
Malkovich
a
is in
no-brainer
this?
at that point, right?
Tom
like, you
Holland?
put the two of
Yeah.
them, it's great, right?
Yeah. T. Holla's in this?
Yeah, okay.
Oh my God. Strap me in.
Wow.
Thank you.
So, that being said,
Yeah.
it's still not
Careful.
a good movie.
Thank you very much. You're absolutely
I
right.
I think I'm saying it. So, acting was good.
Acting was strong.
Acting was
Let's
good,
go to
but-
that. Let's move over to
the writing, how they put it together, I think that's what makes it like, and it's close.
Okay,
it's
so
maybe a 40-60, 45-55. You know what I mean?
I do.
It's close, but I don't know that I agree with the majority of the Rotten Tomatoes.
I gotcha.
I would say it's under for me.
So when it comes to specialities, in your case with acting and production,
the acting I thought
super strong.
was really, really strong for the most part. There
Right.
were some missteps there, I think,
Right.
but for the most part, I really liked it. Now, one of the things that I would say, going back to the trailer versus the actual movie,
Yeah, trailer
the
was
trailer
tight.
made her a lot more dynamic of a
Yes.
character than what she actually played.
There are some
in the movie,
slowdowns
right?
in this movie that bothered me.
And in the movie, it was just like aggro.
Yeah, she was just angry all the time.
She was just angry and upset. And of course, it's the apocalypse, so I'll
Yeah.
forgive that. But in the movie, I actually saw a lot more humanity moments throughout than what I actually got in the movie.
I just saw her as a hard ass who was desperate.
Right?
That's it. Luckily, Sandy
But the
B
trailer
did
totally
that.
misrepresented that.
It did.
then,
It did.
right?
Well, that's why the trailer was better
And
than
that's
the movie.
why you said that. Yeah. Okay.
I think from a sound perspective, like the dialogue isolation was really good, but it was generic. Like the monsters did not sound original. at all.
It was just a force, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It
I
was
mean, I know
just
it's like-
something moving through trees, the trees wrestling, the leaves moving, something.
I go back to a movie that starred the amazing Mr. Bill Paxton, rest in power, where we were talking about his filmography, and I believe the film that I chose and was correct upon was the classic Twister. And one of the things that I mentioned was that the tornadoes were monsters, and from an audio perspective, it was an original idea in which they were represented.
Yes.
Thank you.
I believe you did.
Thank you very much.
Did you go back to the podcast and re-listen to and make sure?
I edited out Bert out of all the previous podcasts.
Did you really?
No, not really.
It's gone
It's- he's-
forever. Like
Who? I don't. It's just been you and me.
Is
the
this
entire
episode
time.
1? Is that what you're saying? Are we in episode 1? Did we go through a time warp?
Dude, we're in episode 0. We're doing this right. But that's the thing. Like, you're right.
Right.
It was just a force. It's limiting. I get that.
Okay,
You
so
can
here's the
make
thing.
more-
Never-ending Story did it better.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right?
But nothing?
The
Get
nothing.
the fuck out of here.
Right?
It was great.
What was the other one that I mentioned earlier? That was just a force.
You mentioned The Lost.
Lost.
Yeah.
What did it sound like in Lost?
It was the same thing, but it was a little bit better.
More.
More,
Right?
yeah.
It was more of a monster.
Yeah.
Right?
When you don't have a body, we don't have something visual to characterize the threat. What else do you rely upon?
Do you know? I didn't do any research as far as what they thought the monster was going to be on this. You did though, right?
Yeah, it was like some
What
sort
was
of.
Was it really a spider monster?
No, I mean it's hard to say because it wasn't like a complete draft. It's a rumor more than anything else that there was probably a real CGI thing that was placed in there that got cut out.
We really don't know.
We really don't know, not for sure, no.
Okay.
But I could see that being true given the final product. It kind of makes sense to me. But again, that's speculation.
I'm gonna throw something out just because I think it's funny.
Oh boy, should I get the reverb ready?
Yeah, I think it was John Malkovich's aggravation. That was the monster. No, that was funny though, right?
It was pretty good.
Was it? I don't know.
I liked it. I think it's good.
I wanna. It made me laugh in my head before I said
I think it's beautiful. Would you suggest people watch this movie or no?
Sure.
Really?
Sure.
Okay.
Only because of it's relevant right now, and like
Sure.
I'm gonna challenge you to watch this movie to challenge you not to be a stupid human being to take the challenge. How's that? Like literally, can you see what? There I go again. See, don't watch the movie for the sake of doing the challenge, just watch it because Sandra Bullock's an incredible actress. John Malkovich is an incredible actor.
Absolutely.
And enjoy the movie for the popcorn suspense that it is and the stupidity of other things about, I don't know. I would say just because of the relevance of social media.
Yeah.
Or like, no, that's a horrible.
No,
that's
I think you're right.
Horrible reason to go watch a movie.
I think you're right because now you'll be able to see what the buzz is all about.
Water cooler talk.
Exactly.
That's the only reason.
That's the only reason to watch this movie. So, guys, we really hope you appreciate. We hope you liked the discussion that we had. Are you into Netflix movies, or are you more into the series? Do you think that good acting and elements that you find in this film are enough to make up for what we believe to be lazy writing? Let us know. Let us be a part of the conversation. Let us know what you think. pullfocuspod@gmail.com. Like, subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on SoundCloud. Let us know how we're doing, and if we can, we'll try and improve and do what we can to make the show better and whatnot. But do you want to do it or should I do it?
No, I have a quote.
Yes. Yeah, what's that?
I have a quote because I'm going to read it.
Go for it.
Sarah Paulson is the first person on the planet, Earth, who still hasn't seen Bird Box, despite being in Bird Box. I love that they're just claiming that she's the only person that hasn't seen it.
It's intense.
That's great.
But guys,
do you know who else hasn't seen it? The heroes of the movie.
What? Unbelievable. Guys, thank you so very much for your time. Thank you so much for listening. We hope we're doing a good job, but you know where to find us and where to tell us if we're not. But as always, remember, we may be wrong, but it's your job to tell us. Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. And bye.
Bye. Thank you so much. Goodbye. Grazie.
Grazie.
Por favore. A buena vista. A Netflixo.